Welcome to Orange County Power Players, where we spotlight the personal, professional, and financial success stories of OC's top leaders. Here's your host, Danny Flores.
Welcome back to OC Power Players, where I interview some of the most successful people in Orange County. I'm your host, Danny Flores, and today's honored guest is Jim Moazez, zooming in from Los Alamitos. Jim is a certified business broker in California and a member of the California Association of Business Brokers. He has sold hundreds of businesses, and he is here to tell us how he accomplishes successful exits for business owners. Jim, welcome.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you for the introduction.
Yes, so tell us, Jim, tell us what you do in selling businesses.
I guess the easiest way to explain is, imagine if you have a house or a property you like to sell, you talk to your local realtor that does that. And I do the same thing for businesses. So if there is a business for sale, we help the clients, the sellers, maximize the value when they exit.
Now, what kind of industries do you concentrate on in the business sale?
Great question. I'm a generalist. I help people from all walks of life, different industries. As a matter of fact, I probably have sold just about every kind of business you can think of. And one of the things that sets me apart from most other business brokers, the business brokers, they usually work in the state they're in. Let's say if you find someone in California, they work in California. I work all over the country, all 50 states. So I help people from every walks of life and different industries.
So that means you sell businesses not only in California, but in any state of the country.
That's correct.
Now, can I ask you, this is a interesting question. Since you've seen so many different businesses, which businesses are most profitable for say an investor? What if somebody comes to you and says, Jim, you know what? I have some money I want to put to work. I want to buy a business. I don't want to go through and I don't want to start a business from scratch. It's just too much work. I want the systems in place, and I want something that gives me a good return on my money. What would you suggest?
Danny, I probably get that question more often than you can imagine. And the true answer is, it depends. The analogy I use is, if you ask me, what is the best food to eat? It depends on you. Do you like, a lot of protein? Are you vegetarian? Do you like it spicy or not? It really depends on you and what you like to do, what you can do. So you can be successful in just about any business there is. What I always say to my clients, first of all, make sure you enjoy what you do. Because if you enjoy what you do, you never have to work for the rest of your life. Two, be very good at it. Mm-hmm. If you're good at it, you will make a lot of money. I don't care what field you're in.
Right. You got to like what you do, and you got to be able to add value, right? You're adding value to the customers. As long as you can add value, your business will be successful.
That's exactly right.
Now, how about financing? If somebody's trying to buy a business, I've heard that you can get SBA loan. Maybe you can get the owner to carry. Sometimes you can keep the owner as part owner invested in the business. What works the best, and how does that work? And it might be one of these, what kind of food do you like type of a question.
So actually, this is more precise, so I can answer that a little more directly. Everything you said is correct. There are so many ways that you can structure the deal. And that's one of the things we offer, let's say, to a potential seller. Mm-hmm. People think that the price is the most important part. It is not. It probably is the second most important. But the most important part in a successful sale of a business is the structure. How are you going to structure the deal? So what I do is I help people not only value what their business is worth, but also structure it to benefit them and make it attractive to a potential buyer. So there is an SBA, and there are actually a couple of types of SBA. There is a loan out there, it's called a state guarantee, that can be supplemented with SBA loan. There is owner financing. There is traditional or non-conventional financing. There is an earnout, and a few other ways that we can structure the deal.
Wow. So there's a lot of different ways they can make the deal successful, the sale successful for a potential buyer, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I think there's a lot of trick questions, but you guide me here. Now, I understand businesses sell in multiples of, is it net income? Is it EBITDA? Is it gross revenue? What is there anything that's typical? And what is that, if that's the case?
I love the question again, because one of those, what does the food taste like? You know, tomorrow, actually, it will be 20 years I have been a broker. I started, actually 2 days from now, started March 1st, 2005. And at the beginning, I used to use the multiple, you know, what's a rule of thumb for a business. It really is not a correct way to take a look at it. We help the business owners value their business specifically to their business, because you can have two same type of business, same industry, same revenue, and even same net profit, but have different valuation.
Right.
So it would be very misleading to think of a multiple. The multiple is anywhere from 1 to 10 times your net profit, your EBITDA, they call it, or sometimes even your revenue, depending on the industry and the particulars about your company.
Right. Now, I also hear that we're in the era where there's a lot of baby boomers getting ready to retire that have built these businesses, and that their children don't want to take over, and they want to exit. They want to retire out of the business. And I don't know if it's true or not, but I hear that there's not enough buyers that want to buy businesses, and these guys, sometimes these owners don't know what to do. Is that the case? What do you see in your world?
First part is correct. I actually see quite a bit of that example or the scenario that the owner is ready to retire, go about his or her life and enjoy their time, and the children, sometimes their in-laws, son-in-law or daughter-in-law, don't like to take over. That is very true. And I think it's kind of unfortunate, but that's the fact. But there are buyers. There really is, there is not a shortage of buyers. You just got to have the right value with the right structure to present to get a deal done.
Okay. Now imagine there's mom and pop buyers, but there's also institutional buyers that are looking to buy businesses, right?
Yes.
Is there a different appetite for each type of a buyer as far as the type of business they're looking for? Or is, say, as private equity firms are coming in, is there a certain deal size that they'll buy and a certain deal size they won't buy? What does that look like?
You know, there used to be a pretty distinct line between, so different buyers are mom and pop, which is majority of the market consists of mom and pop buyers and sellers. Then you have family offices that they buy or sometimes sell. You have private equity. You have venture capital, and so on and so forth, and then institutional buyers. And now these days, that line is not as clearly drawn. I have had large companies. I've had a 80 or $100 million company came and bought a $400,000 mom and pop business. As a matter of fact, we did the deal about 10 years ago, and they're looking to exit out of that business. So I'm going to help them sell that small business that they bought 10 years ago. So what they're looking for really is, what is the opportunity for them? They usually, no one buys the business just because it's doing well right now. Everyone is looking for the upside. What can I do when I pick up this business, regardless of the price? So that opportunity or the potential is the reason people buy business. So this big, huge company, it was a large, and it still is a very large plumbing company, saw the opportunity to add this small business and offer a different service to their current clientele. Mm-hmm. And that business already had certain revenue coming in, and now they add their services, and it became very successful overnight.
Wow. I guess there's economies of scale too, right? So if you have a business, you have your corporate headquarters, you have your accounting team, you buy another business, you can eliminate those redundancies in the business, and all of a sudden you can increase the profit overnight, like you say.
That's a perfect scenario. That happens quite a bit, because once you acquire something and observe them into your own operation, you can cut quite a bit of the overhead. Quite a bit of overhead goes away, and it becomes, your EBITDA or your net profit multiplies right away. So that's called growth by acquisition. And that's a great way of adding to your bottom line and make your company more profitable.
So tell us a little bit about roll-ups.
Well, there are people that do this very successfully. Right now, I can tell you, like, one of the industries that I see a lot of roll-up into are body shops. There are companies that are buying multiple body shops, and they're rolling it up, and they're going to exit as one piece, as a package down the road to a multiple of what they have already invested. Not too long ago, it was storage places. A lot of mom and pops were bought out by national firms, and now they have.
Are you talking about like the self-storage places?
Yeah, self-storage.
Okay.
Self-storage places saw that happening several years ago. So every so often you see an industry in that roll-up situation, and that's the perfect time for a small business to get out, because they're willing to pay high value. If they give you, let's say, 20% more than what your business is worth, they really don't care, because at the end of the day, they're going to double their investment when they roll it up and then package it.
Right. Yes. So that makes sense. I guess it depends what your strategy is, and what. Now you hear on the social media, you hear that say laundromats are attractive businesses. What do you think about laundromats?
Used to be very, very sought after business. I saw a lot of professionals. It could be doctors, CPAs, lawyers. A lot of professionals wanted to invest their money in something to have a quote-unquote passive income. What the reality is, that really usually is not true. It's not as passive as you may think it is. It is not a full-time job. It's something that you spend a lot less time, but it has its own headaches. And if you're looking at it as an investment, as a matter of fact, really no business you can look at it as an investment. You buy a piece of stock, you buy crypto, you leave it there. When the price goes up, you sell it. You don't do anything much. That's not what the business is about. Business, you have to be involved. You have to take care of, and when there are any fires, pardon the pun, you have to put out some fires.
Right. And so then now that's not highly sought after, because now everybody knows that, hey, you got to spend a little bit of time there. What are physicians and lawyers that have a profession buying now?
Again, goes back to each individual. I am dealing with a business right now. They are in the state of Massachusetts, and they do bakery for dogs, for pets. They make and sell baked goods. And this couple, they own multiple liquor stores. This bakery has its own employees running it. This couple has some extra time they can spend on it. So we are trying to do a deal for them that they're going to buy that business. The wife and husband are going to spend some hours in that business each, and they still have and run their own liquor stores. So again, depends on what you like to do. Some people, I just talked to a gentleman yesterday. This gentleman is very handy. He likes technology. And I asked him, how about a auto repair? He goes, yes. As a matter of fact, I love it. I like to do work on my car. I know what to do. And so we are going to look for an auto repair shop.
Oh, interesting. Wow. So you stay busy. So it seems like rain or shine, whatever economic cycle we're in, people want to sell businesses and people want to buy businesses.
Thankfully, I don't take anything for granted. I appreciate every client I get. Right. And I always say you're as good as your last deal.
Yeah.
And I believe, I would say 90 to 95% of my business is referral. So as I mentioned, the company that bought the big plumbing company bought this company 10 years ago, and they're coming back to sell that. Right.
Yeah, yes. You're there. You helped them once. You did a good job for them, and you're there to help them on the exit, and that's great. Yes, repeat business is the best business. Now, let's just say one of our audience members is listening, and kind of piques their interest, different businesses, and they don't know where to start, and they came to you. How would you guide them into trying to, figure out what they like, what they don't like, what they might want to buy, what's available, and how to put something together? And let's just say they've never had a business before, but they want to be an entrepreneur.
That's a good question. If I see that I can bring value, I actually sit down and talk to them. It may take somewhere between 40 to 60 minutes. And we talk and I interview them. And that's 100% free. I do that. I'll be happy to do that. Because many years ago, I was one of those guys. No experience in business. Started my first business and it was very tough because I had no one to guide me.
Right.
I offer that consultation for free on anyone that likes to get into business. And I also, one of the things that is dear to my heart are veterans and first responders. I actually pay them to buy a business. So anyone that is active or retired, a veteran or a first responder, I will be happy to pay them, help them with their down payment to invest in a business and do something on their own.
Well, thank you. That's good to know. And hopefully anybody who's listening, a first responder that wants to take an offer, we'll make sure that you figure out how to get a hold of Jim. They'll be able to help you with that.
Sure.
Now, Jim, what has been one of your biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career to be as successful as you have been as a business broker?
Well, um, the biggest challenge has been for me to educate the clients. Some people are willing to listen, and some people are they have their own ways. For that reason, I just recently published my first book on a national level, and it explains to anybody that wants to sell a business uh, what they have, where they have to be in order to maximize the value.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I cannot do it for them, but I tell them what needs to be done. They can either have an option of doing it themselves. There are professionals that they can help them do it as well. And I actually work with a couple of people that can do that, regardless of industry. And so if anybody likes to, I'm going to put that 15-second commercial for my book. My book is on the market right now is The Art of Business Exit. Probably the most common place is Amazon. Art of Business Exit. And there is a Kindle, there's hardcover, soft cover. But anyway, read that. It tells you everything you need to know about selling a business. Or even buying it, because you like to buy a business that has checked most, if not all of these boxes.
Right, right, right. And yes, thanks for plugging in your book. Once again, the title of that book is Art of Business Exit. I like reading. I enjoy reading. I wanted to put it on my audiobook list so that I can read your book as well.
And I also offer anybody that purchases the book, it doesn't matter what version, and they leave a review, I need an honest review, we will do a free business broker opinion of business for their business, free of charge. That is normally $3,000 value.
Wow. Okay. That's great to know. That's great to know because that's $3,000 savings. They can figure out what the value of their business is.
Yes.
Wow. Well, yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. Well, Jim, it looks like your business is doing well. You're successful and you're doing it. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now, many business owners, such as yourself, and the ones that you probably deal with, look for potential passive income investments where it's aside from their regular business, something where they can invest money passively, potentially setting themselves up for retirement, or maybe just adding an additional income stream for their families. What are your thoughts on that?
As long as they're willing to put some hours in the business. If not, I don't recommend any field. If they're willing to put, I'm going to say something like at least 10, 15 hours a week at the least, it becomes very dangerous in my humble opinion. You're risking your money.
Right, right.
But if you're willing to, sometimes there are great opportunities that you can come in on a part-time basis, run the business, if you have the aptitude for that field, and be very successful and make very good money.
Right. Okay. Okay. So people can buy multiple businesses then and be able to have more than one because they don't require all of their time in that business.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, as we wrap up our interview, Jim, what does 2025 look like for you?
I actually think that we're going to be very busy. As business brokers, we're going to be very busy for multiple reasons. And right now is a good opportunity to get into a business that you can enjoy and make good money. Because there are a lot of people that are retiring. So there will be good amount of inventory on the market coming up for sale.
Mhm.
And I actually see I see a surge in people looking to retire and sell their business. And this would be a good buyer's market.
An opportunity, huh? Yeah. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know just in case. Well, Jim, thank you for all your insight and all the information you've provided us. If somebody's listening to us and wants to get a hold of you, what would be the best way to get a hold of you?
Probably the easiest is just call me. I'm going to give everyone my cell number. Obviously, you see our website. You can go there and send me an email as well. The website is zoombusinessbrokers.com. But my personal cell number is area code 562-477-6657. Again, I'll repeat it, 562-477-6657.
Very good. Very good. Thanks so much for that, Jim. And once again, thanks for coming on. And to our audience, please go to ocpowerplayers.com and follow us on your favorite channel. And don't forget to like us. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Orange County Power Players. Want to share your success story? Apply to be a guest at ocpowerplayers.com/guest.